Simply Straight Talk with your host Reggie B. Come on, let's all join in. Free your voice, it's your choice, alright here. Oh, Simply Straight Talk.
Welcome to the Simply Straight Talk Show, a podcast about real life with real talk. Each week, we deliver the best hard-hitting conversations on topics that affect you and me every day on this journey called life. Now, here's your host, Reggie Maddox.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Simply Straight Talk Show, and today I have a very special guest to help me out with the conversation, okay? Today we're going to talk about conversation with a black woman, really trying to understand the relationship between black men and black women. Now, you know I normally do this by myself, but I needed an intelligent black woman to help me understand the mind of a black woman because clearly I cannot do that. And I would definitely say something stupid and get pulled off of everything. So that's why we have Miss Demi here with us today.
Hi guys. I'm Demi Holly. I just really quick introduce myself. I have a podcast for Black girls. It talks about love, relationships, culture, girl talk, Black girl magic. If you'd like to listen, it's at heyblackgirlletstalk.com. It's on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, as well, and it's also on Apple, TuneIn, Spotify, Stitcher.
All right, and I'm definitely going to include that information also in the show notes, so make sure you check out her podcast. Make sure you also follow her. She has some great information. I listened to her podcast about dating, and she's going to give you some honest words of wisdom, so definitely check it out. So had me in my feelings. But it was the truth, though. You told the truth. So that's what it's about.
Well, thank you. I try.
Okay, so we're going to start the first part
Try to keep it real.
See, that's the whole thing. Just keep it real.
Mm-hmm. That's what we need right now. We need people to keep it real. We need transparency.
Yeah, because everybody's really sensitive right now. It's like nobody wants to say anything out of fear, some type of backlash or lawsuit.
All right. You had to add that in there. Because, man, yes, lawsuit.
Yes, it is a real thing now. They will sue you for anything.
Anything.
Okay, now the first session we're going to do is dating. That is a hot topic with my listeners. There has been a constant debate. So we want to talk about dating between the black man and the black woman. I've heard on numerous social media sites, even on mainstream television shows, where there's this constant thing about black men don't need black women don't need black men. Then the whole, the MGTOW thing where men are supposed to be going their separate ways. So what I would like to do is ask Demi some questions and have her answer so the men can honestly hear what a woman has to say, and we're not just assuming or just kind of like sometimes how we do. We get in our feelings too, getting in our own feelings about how we feel about black women without really trying to understand their perspective and how they see things and what they're dealing with in the dating world. Because sometimes I do admit, and guys, you got to admit this, we do try to throw black women under the bus, especially when we don't get our way or we're insecure about ourselves. I've been on dating sites. I'm not going to lie. I hate them now, but yeah. All right.
It's not fun. It should be. It should be a fun thing, but it's not.
It's really not fun at all. You get some of the craziest people, and of course everybody plays games.
Yeah, true.
Taking pictures in front of houses and cars that's not theirs, and
Right, we've all seen that one.
Yeah, it's like it's crazy, but we're gonna get into that. But Demi, let me ask you: do you feel black women are angry at the black man? And if so, why do you think there may be some anger at the black man from black women?
Well, first thing I want to say is that I passionately love black men, and I can't speak for all black women, but it is my opinion that black men or black women aren't necessarily angry at black men. I think people tend to have this belief that black women are angry. And, you know, although I feel like we have the right to be about some things,
Mm-hmm.
I think what people are really seeing is frustration. It's
Mm-hmm.
frustration, and sometimes there's a sense of overwhelm. And, you know, as far as black men, most black women really love black men passionately. So, as far as, if there is any anger for a black man, it's out of passion, and I think it's more disappointment rather than anger, if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. But
That makes sense. When it comes to, oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going on that point. When it comes to certain things, as far as with black men that's going on in the world today in culture, I think it's more disappointment. I don't think it's anger.
Because you also said overwhelmed, and I think that's something that black men don't really consider when it comes to black women, that they are overwhelmed. And I think we kind of see black women as now as like, okay, black women are doing good. They have successful careers. They have their own homes, so we may not see black women as being overwhelmed because we could be just stuck in our own little bubble. But I think we might be overlooking that.
Yeah, and and when I say overwhelm, of course, it's the normal things that we all have to deal with. We all got to eat, but a lot of women, not every woman, but there's a lot of women that are single parents too. So it's like, and they're trying to manage the child or the children, on top of those things, on top of being black and on top of being a woman. So, and maybe wanting that man to be there, so it's overwhelming to deal with a lot of stuff sometimes.
No, I can see that because that is a lot. And sometimes when you're a single parent and you have kids and you get into the dating world, if that person doesn't have kids or doesn't have kids living with them, they don't seem to understand that there's an obligation that she has to her kids. So she may not have the availability, she may not have the finances or the freedom to do things when he feels it's convenient or should be done.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
Now, do you feel that like social media, because this is sort of a stickler with me, I think too many people are allowing social media to influence them personally and in their relationships. So do you think that maybe social media is kind of like consciously or unconsciously now has created like this negative impact on relationships between black men and black women? And I say that because I think about recently Cardi B made the comment about, if a man can't buy you this, then you shouldn't be with him. And she specifically mentioned a Bertram bag, which I had no idea, to be honest with you, what that even was. So when I looked it up, it's a $20,000 purse. None of my friends can buy that. Half of my friends can't even buy a $500 purse. So, so do you think that?
Right. Look, $5. Shoot, what you
Yeah.
mean? $5.
So do you think social media is like playing a negative part in some people? And I love the fact that you said some and not all, because a lot of people like to categorize men and women together. I love the fact that you recognize that, it's only some men, some women. I love that.
I think somewhat, and just looking at the whole Cardi B situation, uh, I mean, she also says she doesn't cook or clean, and clearly her husband had her on had her on video cleaning. So I think that most people in the world, seriously, I think most people in the world are followers. Like, I don't feel that, and that's something I don't think is exclusive to black people. It's just what we do. However, I do think that our culture tends to put more value in what these people say and do simply because we have less role models in our own community. So, we're if you think about it, we are literally just off the slave ship. I mean, literally. So our parents and their parents' literally had to start from scratch. There wasn't a whole lot there for us to grab onto. We started from scratch. So for many people and for many black people, celebrities are all we've got. It's sad, but
No, you're right. That's when you say role models in the community, I can't tell you how many times I've felt like it was basically exactly what you said. We put more emphasis on people we don't know just because they play basketball, football, they're in a movie, or they're some type of entertainer. And we don't have people in our community for our younger people to look up to see that we do have good black men and black women that are good mothers, good fathers, part of the community. They're working to make the neighborhoods and community better. They don't see that.
they don't see it. And the thing about it is, they might see someone doing that, but they have no idea how they did it, how they're doing. They don't know how to do it. It's just kind of like, oh, they just snap their fingers, and all of a sudden, they're got this great career, or they don't know how either. No one's saying this is how you do this. This is how you fish. This is how you. They're not doing that. We're not doing that as a culture. We're not doing that with each other. We're not reaching back and mentoring. We're not. So, it's no wonder that there's a lot of especially younger people that listen to Cardi B and listen to some of this stuff and literally take it seriously. Like, you know what? Cardi said don't cook and clean. I ain't cooking and cleaning. Like, I mean, they don't know. They don't know. And if their mom is listening to, I mean, seriously, think about it. If their mom is listening to Cardi B and she's like, what, I'm not cooking or cleaning either. It's just we have a lack of role models, like a lack of real life role models and people to show you and to show us how it's done. You always see people out here flexing, oh, I got this and this and that, but they never show anyone else how to do it. Unless you go and you pay for information, it's you don't have it. No one wants to share. No one wants to give back. And I know that the reason why we're here where we are today is because people, our ancestors, the people before us, they cared. They gave back. They
Exactly.
reached back. They helped. But I don't know. We're not doing that right now. We're not doing it as a culture.
You're right. And I think when I look at the other cultures, it just seems like we are the only culture that's not doing that. Now I know some other cultures may not be as active about it, but we're almost at a point of zero. And when I do hear about celebrities or entertainers, going back to do something, it's like, oh, it's Thanksgiving, they're going to go give out some turkeys.
Yeah.
It's nothing really long term to
Yeah.
prepare and build them for where these younger people can say, okay, it's like you said, this is how I can get to college. This is how I can start a business.
Right. We're not doing that. And I guess the question is why? Why aren't we doing that? That might be another podcast, just digging in to figure out why not? Why are we not doing this as a whole? What's the problem?
Yeah, that would be a good discussion because, we really don't. I'm trying to think. I can't think of anybody I've heard about. Now, I'm not saying that there's nobody that hasn't, but there's no one that I've heard that has really went back to the community and built a school, not just for, okay, here, they can go to school. I'm talking about actually building programs to where these kids are getting help with tutoring, career. Like when I was coming up, there was no programs in my community to say, like, listen, if you want to go be an intern or if you want to learn about being a lawyer or being a doctor or different career fields. So it was kind of like once I got out of school, it was like, okay, go conquer the world.
Yeah, go do it.
Yeah.
Go ahead now. But how? Like, well,
Yeah.
what? Yeah.
But
yeah.
what are the steps,
It's still like that to an extent.
It is.
Yeah, tell me 1 through 20. Tell me, like, okay, step 1, go here. Do this,
It is. It literally, when I got out of high
About
school, it
that.
was just like, here's your diploma. The world is yours.
Go get them.
Yeah. And I was like, Navy, here I come.
Right. That's the only thing that seems to be set up is the military.
That's it.
It tells you. I mean, seriously.
That's it. Just the
Yep.
military. So sad. So sad.
It is. And thank you for your service, by the way. I'm a veteran, but I was Army. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Oh, thank you too. Now, what do you think are the biggest challenges for black women when it comes to dating today?
Well, I can't speak for all black women, but from my perspective, when it comes to men, I believe the biggest challenge is consistency and transparency. And when I say consistency, I mean men the same energy throughout the dating phase and beyond the dating phase. Being a man of their word. And by transparency, I mean telling the whole truth and not the half truth. If a
Ooh.
man has a situation, then he should be responsible and considerate enough to be honest and transparent. And that allows a woman to decide if she would like to move forward with him or not.
Ooh. You trying to get me in trouble.
Just consider, but I'm telling you, across the board, like when I talk to women, and the thing is, a big thing is consistency. One morning it's good morning, beautiful, and then the next day it's crickets. It's like, I mean, what's going on? Be consistent.
And I do wonder, how do people fall into that mold to where you got a good point. It's like, I love you today, I miss you today, and then a week or two or a day later, it's just kind of like, It's like, do you not want to be in a relationship anymore, or like, what makes a person change in how they treat somebody?
Right. You mean as far as like, what do you mean?
Like say if you're in a relationship and you're all loving and romantic, and then all of a sudden you just get kind of cold and distant. You know what I mean? It's like you say, you're inconsistent. It's like you kind of never know what that person is, how that person is going to act one day. They want to hear from you. They want you to text them. They want you to call
Right.
them. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're texting too much.
Right. And it's like, okay, I mean, because I think like for as far as for men, and this is just my opinion, I think when I say consistency for men, I mean like just being consistent, like just coming over when not coming over when you say you're gonna come over, not okay, I came over the first few weeks or I came over until I got whatever it is I wanted, and then I'm off in La La Land somewhere else. And then as far as women, I think what I'm hearing you say is that, women can be fickle. It's like, well, it's like a balancing act. Well, you want me to do this or you want me to do that? Like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? And, for that, I don't envy men with that. I mean, if I were to give a man advice, if a woman's being fickle like that, I would just say fall back. Fall back, let her get it, whatever it is she got going on, because we be having stuff going on, and just fall back a little bit, and then when she's like, where you been, and then you just give her all the love and affection, but that's the only thing I can say when it comes to that, because women can be fickle sometimes, and that's not just for black women, that's just women, period.
Ah, because I've never heard anybody give that advice, which is actually really good.
Yeah,
It's a
it's best
good
to just
point.
fall back. Yeah, just let her go through it, just let her do what she does.
Yeah, because I think most
She'll be
men.
back.
You said she'll be back.
Right.
Because
She'll be back.
I think most men just kind of go in, instead of, like you said, just kind of falling back and letting her figure out what's going on. Most men want to dive in, like, what's wrong with you, or go insecure.
And I think the same could be for men. I think the same could be for men, because a man is not always off somewhere cheating when he's in his man mode, And it's the same thing. If someone, hey, just fall back a little bit, let him get his little stuff together, and he'll come back around whenever he's shaking whatever that is off. But I do know women can be fickle. We can be.
That's it, I think some people like that. It brings excitement.
I don't know. Like I think there's just women, and I have girlfriends, and we do it to each other. It's just sometimes, just I can understand it though. Okay, she's in her little, she's going through whatever. She'll be back. She'll be next thing tomorrow or later today. Hey, girl, and you just go from there. Sometimes it's just and then we got stuff going on. We got hormones. We got stuff going on. So it's just some days we just not with it. Like,
Ah.
that song, Monica, it's just one of them days. Just one of them days.
I actually like that
Seriously.
song.
Yeah, well, it's real. It's real life.
Do you see if black men, like say, when a man becomes more expressive or really start to expose his feelings, do you see that as a sign of weakness? Or is it like maybe like a little bit of a boundary to that, like how much he should express? Like is crying okay, not okay? Or is he crying about something important, or can he be taken as a wimp if he cries too much?
I don't know. Like, I think it depends on context. I just think it depends on the context. If it's one of those situations where maybe a woman is looking to a man to be the lead in a situation, then I would see where maybe, a woman might feel a certain way if she felt that he were playing the part that she's supposed to play, or just,
Mm-hmm.
if it just depends on the expectation and what's going on. I just say I feel like when it comes to something like that, you just got to be yourself. If that's your makeup and a woman doesn't like that, then that's not the woman for you. You know what I mean? You need someone that feels like, okay, I have emotions, I want to be able to show them. You need to be with someone that can appreciate that. Some women have preconceived notions of what they think a man is supposed to be, and we've never been a man a day in our life. So they haven't seen a, a male figure maybe growing up, and they just have this idea in their head that men are just these pillars of stone that that aren't human, and that's not right. But at the same time, I'm just sitting here thinking maybe if a woman's acting like that, maybe it would depend on the context that he's maybe crying. Me personally, I could appreciate someone that has emotions and shows them whenever they feel them.
I do not even know what to say. No, because my listener base is 54% men. So when I did a live stream and I said I was going to do this topic, everybody was like, "You're not going to find a woman who's going to understand the male perspective. It's going to be a male bashing." And I'm like, "No," I said, "I think I got somebody." I said, "Trust me on this one. Trust me on this one." I said, "They're going to be honest." I said, it was just like it was a fun back and forth, but I could tell they were really serious. Like, it's going to go there. I'm like,
Oh Lord.
no, but to hear what you said exactly what a lot of them were expressing. And they felt that as men, we can't, really show our emotions because we have to be strong all the time. We have, like you said, we have to be a pillar of stone.
Hmm.
So it was like to hear you say that, it's kind of like I can tell, like now they can actually hear, like, listen, women do understand. Well, some women, we're going to say some, 'cause I'm bad about, I don't like that all thing either. Some women do understand. So we men have to get out of the perception that all women think this way or going to be perceive you in this way. So that was a really good point. I was listening like, wow, that's the first time I heard that. Okay.
A lot of women, we don't know what it's like to be a man, So it's just one of the things that is the expectations that society has put up for the most part, I think.
No, I think you're right. I mean, it's because when you think about what it's like to be a woman, no man can tell a woman what it's like to be a woman. What is it like for you to go out into the everyday world? What is it like for you to go out? Even going out, I've seen women, like when I go to the gym, and literally a woman is on the treadmill and she can't even concentrate because she's getting stopped 2 or 3 times because somebody's trying to talk to her. And as a man, we don't understand that that's some of the stuff that women deal with all day. is being approached. If they say hi, some guy takes it as, oh, her saying hi means she wants to go out on a date with me or she wants to sleep with me. You know, so we don't really understand everything that
Yes.
women deal with. Even like the rude behavior, the people the touchy feely guys. And it's a lot of things that as men we don't take into consideration. I don't want to say that we normalized it, but we just assumed that it's innocent, it's okay. It wasn't a slap, it wasn't a hit. So we're like, okay, he didn't hit her, he didn't slap her, so she's okay with it. So what he did was okay. And really, we're really missing out on understanding women and what they really do go through. And we are sort of to blame for some of the things that women feel when it comes to men, when it comes to dating, and when it comes to them going through their everyday life.
Yeah, it's a weird balance. I think it's a weird balance, and it's like, yeah, there can be some inappropriateness, inappropriate time, um but the thing is that, women, as we, get older, 50s,
Mm-hmm.
60s, 70s, 40s, um 30s, those are the things that, you know, a woman likes to be told that she's beautiful. And so I feel, and also I look at from the man's perspective, it's kind of like, well, you got to shoot your shot, right? You know what I mean? Women want the man to try to shoot his shot. So it's a matter of determining when it's appropriate, maybe, when
Mm-hmm.
it's appropriate to shoot your shot. And for women, it's a matter of understanding that, okay, they're trying to shoot their shot. And also the fact that, yes, we do enjoy being told that we look good. We enjoy that attention. And there comes a point in time in a woman's life when she's older and she doesn't have that attention anymore. And then, so I try to keep that in perspective, that someone is trying to shoot their shot. So I appreciate it. I appreciate the
Mm-hmm.
attention. Appreciate if you notice that my dress is nice or whatever, you like it. I appreciate it, and I try to be gracious, because I do understand that, there will come a time where no one's going to probably say much of anything to me. I understand that. So I'm just a little bit different in that way. Maybe not. I'm pretty sure there's other women that are the same way, that aren't going to get mad at something like that.
Uh-huh.
But at the same time, I understand both sides. The man's just trying to shoot his shot, and she's just trying to get her exercise on. Maybe he could, you know, maybe think about his timing and maybe approach her after she's done. Stuff like that.
And that makes sense. I think you said it right. It's really timing. Because I know when you're in the gym, you're all
Mhm.
sweaty. The last thing you want somebody to do is come up in your face and trying to
Mhm.
talk to you.
Yeah, because you're gonna feel self-conscious. You're
Yeah.
gonna feel like, oh my god, I'm not even cute right now. Yeah. So, just thinking about that. The guy wants to shoot a shot, but you also want the woman, I'm telling you, if a woman is feeling good about herself, then you'll get a lot further. If she's dressed nice, she's smelling nice, her hair is done, that might be a good time, that might be a good time.
See, guys, you gotta listen. Y'all give some good advice right now. Y'all should be paying her for a book for this. So y'all need to be taking notes. Because trust me, I read y'all comments. I know exactly what y'all say. Now, this next one, now, this one has been really touchy with a lot of people. And this is one that we discussed also. Taraji P. Henson made the comment about black girl magic and strong black woman. And Monique had a similar comment about women calling themselves bad bitches. So they believe that these quotes, kind of hurt the black woman and kind of dehumanizes them. So do you think those quotes, help, or do it makes men? Because I know some men have the mentality now that black women don't need the help of the black men. Well, yeah, black women don't need the help of the black men. Yeah, that's right. And so they've kind of like put a wall between themselves and black women as far as like, unless she asks me for her help, then I'm just going to sit back, which is not a good thing. So do you feel that this way of thinking has affected, has it had an impact on the dating world that maybe guys are thinking now, women should approach me. I don't have to approach women anymore.
I don't know why that made me laugh. Well, I guess, I mean, I look at it as far as that last thing you said, I look at it as, you know, if you think about it, like back in the 60s, like,
Mm-hmm.
there were like real live like black families. There were black family, it was mama, daddy, sister, brother, like they was together.
Right.
Like I listened to, things grandma and so listen to those days, they were together. And at some point maybe it was, some people say it was when, the feminist movement or, at some point, and I'm not blaming it on that. I'm just saying that some people say that that was around the time. But anyway, at some point, that just wasn't the case. And when you look back, I would say maybe, I would say maybe like 70s, 80s, maybe is when the family just started to kind of, the black family just kind of started to disintegrate, and you had a lot of single family homes with black women being the head, and whatever the situation between the mama and the daddy, that they weren't, the daddy wasn't there, I don't know. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm just imagine, these children, boys and girls, growing up with a single mama. And particularly, we don't really know. I didn't grow up with that. I have a whole different scenario that I cover in one of my podcasts. But there's women that grow up with mamas that tell them basically that black men ain't shit. That, you
Oh.
know, if he's gonna be around you, if he's, if he can't give you $40 to pay a bill, or and they get that mentality because mama's sitting here like, what, this shit happened to me. It's not about to happen to my. I'm gonna put her on game. I'm gonna tell my daughter what's up. When really that's not even, it's not an answer. It's not it's not a good strategy, and it's one-sided. But you have to think, this is all this woman knows. This is all she knows to teach her daughter, and now her daughter is coming with this mentality, and she's teaching her daughter this mentality. And this is what I see going on in some cases where it's like with the division, and as far as, well, I don't need a man, I can take care of myself. I don't, because at some point it's just like a seed of bitterness that's just passed down, and it's from some man back in, I don't know, the 70s or 80s, that decided, some men that decided that, what,
Mm-hmm.
we out. And it's just one of those things that has just, it's like it's a curse, generational, maybe it's a generational curse where it just keeps passing itself down, and the gap is just continues to get wider.
That's
um
true.
should men ask if a woman, I feel like it's not even, I don't even feel like it's one of those things where you have to ask a woman, do you want me to do this? Honestly, if I was, I'll never be a man. If I was coming from a male perspective, I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't. I would just get to know the woman, because at some point you might be dating, but you also need to be friends. And if you feel like you can't come to this woman and you gotta guess all the time, well, is this right or is this not right? Then maybe either you're in the relationship, or maybe you're not, the two of you aren't communicating properly. Because I feel like after you get to know someone, you should be able to say, hey babe, is this something that you need, and not have to worry about it. It should be a flow. It shouldn't be, well, is this something that men should do? And if a man is coming out the gate trying to, pay light bills and stuff, that's not working either. Like, because you're not getting to know that person, and you're not getting, the thing is, you want someone that's going to be your friend, and your friend, you don't have to do all that with your friend. You see what I'm saying?
No, you're right.
Like, I just feel like, if you're in a relationship with someone, then it shouldn't be a question of, does she need my help? I mean, if you see her over there struggling, the kids, there's nobody to pick the kids up. She got to be at work. Her mama's sick, this and this and that. Then, yeah, take the lead. Hey, you know what? Go ahead and do this. I'm gonna go ahead and take care of this. If she doesn't want you to do it, she'll let you know. But I don't feel like it should be a, well, should is this what men should do? I think you should do according to what your individual situation mandates. I mean, and then when you said about Taraji, I think you told me about Monique and Taraji P Henson and all that stuff, Black Girl Magic. And you know, white women refer to each other as bitches. I personally don't call women bitches. I don't call my friends bitches either. I really think it's an ugly word.
Hmm.
But there are some women that do that as a term of affection for their friends, and it's not just black women. You know, um, yeah, I think Black Girl Magic is great. I think, you know, as far as that goes, it's a positive part of our culture because it teaches, you know, black girls, grown women to understand that we're still queens, even when the world tries to convince us that we're not. So that Black Girl Magic, it's a positive. It's positive. I think. I don't think that hurts black women.
I think you're right. I mean, because when I heard it, I didn't really find anything wrong because everything else on mainstream media, when it comes to black women, is it's always negative. So I think black women needed some type of phrases and slogans that's going to let them know that listen, we do matter. Like you said, we are queens. Because you got very few black princesses in movies. You're very few black queens until what was it? Black Panther came out.
Yes, it's coming back slowly though. I'm seeing a lot of little things and it makes me happy. You know, they're showing more black, you know, it's a lot of black films out now.
Yeah, and that I am glad to see. I didn't like cuties, but everything else, yeah, I wasn't happy about cuties die.
Hey, I just dig it. And I love the fact that they're showing us in different roles. It's so nice. It's so nice. Action feel like I love it. Drama, you know, showing us in different, you know, hey, we're not just comedians. You know, we don't just have
Yes.
these same, you know, even though I love Tyler Perry. I love him, but we have more to us than that. We're more diverse than that.
Yeah, I think that was my issue. That's my issue with Tyler Perry. Like every woman in his show, she's either like on drugs. It's always like she's this overly angry, you know, drama filled woman. So that's my only real issue with him. But with Hollywood and movies in general, I am so happy that they're now showing that every black woman doesn't have to have the hairstyle like she went to her hairstylist and nobody knew what to do with it.
Right.
It's like every
Right.
commercial, every TV show, it's like all of the white people hair is all curled up and done. It's like when you get to the black woman, it's like we don't have nobody for you. Just throw a little water and go out there and run your line. I'm like, come on, man.
Right. I think Tyler Perry had a movie that came out. It was I can't remember the name of it, but the whole crew had a wig. Even the men had wigs on, and everybody was just sitting there like, "Come on now, Tyler, stop it, stop." Yeah, I wish I could remember the name of that movie though. And wigs were horrible, horrible. It's like no need for all that.
Oh, I can't. I know what you. I can't even think of the name of that movie. You're right, because everybody was
Yes.
clowning that movie.
Dang it. Yeah. Yes. And I'm like, why the man got a wig on? Like, what's going on? Yeah. I, who was it? Like, oh, I'm so mad now. But it was like, yeah, because the lady was wealthy or something. I don't know. And then she ended up going to, I don't know. Anyway, another one of his little dramatical films.
I know. Oh my goodness. We got to talk about that because that. But oh my god, oh, I can go all day on that one. Now let's online dating. I have some stories.
Oh boy.
Because see, now, okay, let's be honest for a bit. I decided to do online dating because I'm not really a club person.
Right.
So I said, well, this may be a way to kind of meet women and kind of meet somebody. We can kind of like get to know each other and see what their interests are, and we can see if we can connect. It's like you said earlier, it's the actually getting to know each other process. And I was really
Yeah.
shocked that, I set up my profile. I was like, I took my time to get it right now. I wanted to get the words all right and, you know, tell them who I really was. I didn't want to play no games. Like, I wanted them to know, like, this is who I am. The responses I got back, I was like, okay, people would ask me, well, do you smoke weed? I'm like, no, I don't smoke weed. Okay, well, we can't talk. One lady, I don't know why I even engaged the conversation, but we had a debate for 2 days before I finally just decided to block her. Because she said, well, do you go to strip clubs? I said, be honest with you, I went to strip clubs when I was, younger. But now I don't really do the strip club thing because, number one, I'm not going to be throwing my money away like that on somebody that, honestly, that ain't really interested in you. And she's like, well, you should go to strip clubs because that's where real men go. Real men go to strip clubs, and that's where I want my man to go. I said, well, I'm not really into that. I said, if I'm with a woman, I'd rather me and her have a little intimate thing at home and we can play that little role play game at home. So she was saying that I wasn't a man.
Right. Whoa.
And I'm like, no, I said, I just choose not to engage in that. That was something that was just years ago. I said, why would you want me to go sit and look at other women like that? She said, that's what men do. I said, no, that is not what men do when they're with someone they want to be with. If you got a man like that, then he's not into you. Now, I'm not knocking the strip club, if people go to the strip club, that's your business. I am not judging you. But just for me, it was like the whole online dating thing. I didn't find it to be any better than meeting somebody out in public because it seemed like there was more games. Now, just my experience, there was more games being played online than when you actually meet somebody. So,
Okay.
like that was just my take.
Um. Well, I mean, when you were telling me that, Reggie, I was just sitting there and I was thinking, this woman or these particular women that you're talking about are not. They're not. They're not the one you. They're not for you. And I look at it as kind of like, I had a friend that had a photography business and,
Mm-hmm.
he was complaining because he's like, I have all these people and they want to, they always want to do photo shoots, but then whenever we do the photo shoots, they're like, oh, well, let me pay you later or this and that. And so I just kind of was like, And I was like, well, what's going on with this? So I'm like, I started looking at his little stuff and I'm like, okay, these are really young, very beautiful, by the way, but really young women. They don't really have a lot of finances. It's like, but these were the people that he was taking pictures of, and he was wondering why he couldn't get paid. And it was like I'm on the outside looking in. I mean, from the outside looking in, it's clear. When you're in the situation, whatever situation he was in, it wasn't clear, and I'm just like, these are not your people. Those aren't your people. You need to find your people. You need to find your people that if someone is, showing signs of things that don't mesh or vibe with you, and that's
Mm-hmm.
male or female, why entertain it? As soon as you see that, only real men go to strip clubs, you already know, well, nope, that's not it. You know what I mean? Like, we don't really have anything to talk about. I mean, think about it. You might look nice, you might, you know what I'm saying, but other than that, we really, if I'm looking for a life partner, this
Mm-hmm.
is not it. There's plenty of women out there. I don't know, and I know that there's different women out there. I can say from my perspective, I don't know any women that think it's that want to go to think a man that goes to a strip club is the only real type of man. I don't know women like that. I do know some women that would like a good man, and they're not perfect. They're not perfect, but they like a good man. They like to have a family. They like the traditional type of thing. And I don't know if that's what you're looking for, Reggie, but there are other type of women out there. Though those type of women are just they're on they're a certain type. They are, and clearly it's not your type. So that's my take on that when you were telling me that, because I'm like, maybe the the cover looked nice, and that right there is the first part of it. Okay, I like the cover. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I like the way she looks. I like the way she, you know what I'm saying? But what's when she opens her mouth, what is she saying? And if it's saying something that's completely contradictory to who you are, off the gate, it's like, nope. I mean, unless there's something else you're going for, but I don't really know. But they're just not your people. They're not your people. And so, the sooner you can get that one on about their business, the sooner the one that is your person can come. And, when you're not, you don't want to waste time entertaining people that are, like I said, I don't know anybody like that feels that way. But clearly there are people that do, but you don't feel that way. You don't feel that way. So it's like, you know what? You're like, I'm not doing that. You're like, I'm not doing that. So she's, there's other people out there in the world other than that.
Yeah, because I'm more like am I a boring person? Probably yeah. Like I'm more like movies, dinner, concert, stuff like that.
How is that boring though? I mean, hell, you might think a strip club. I mean, somebody might think a strip club is boring. And you might say, well, how can a strip club be boring? I mean, if you're going to it and seeing the same old thing day in, day out, it could be boring. I don't think that those things you mentioned are boring. They're not. And there's somebody that would be happy and excited to do those things. And really, and let me just take it back a notch, you can do the most mundane things with someone that you feel is special, exciting, and someone that you truly enjoy spending time with. You guys could do the stupidest, boringest things, and it be fun. So I don't think that's it. I think somebody, it just depends on you finding your person. And I don't know where this, I just don't think that has anything to do with it's just you finding your people. And I say the same thing for myself because I've had some sketchy dating experiences to the point that now I don't even let it, but I know that I can't get out. I know that I want to mate, but I cannot get out. I can't be out in these streets with the virus going on.
Hmm.
So I just like, okay, these are the options I have. But what I have done is like, I'm quick to see when someone's not my person. And I might have enjoyed some aspects of the conversation or whatever, but if they're not, they're not. And it's no point in me sitting here wasting his time or my time. I just keep it moving. That gives frees up time for me entertaining someone that I know is not my people. I know is not my person to go into the next one. And that's the way I look at it.
No, that's a good point, and you make a very good point because I think sometimes, we entertain people that, not to say you got to throw people away, but you just might need to say like, you know what, I'm not going to spend. I'm only going to allot this much time to you, if any time at all. Because you're right, you can miss out
Right.
on
It's like
somebody that's
when you,
coming.
yep. And it's like, I was just thinking, when you like, okay, we with the career, okay, this isn't a good fit. This is not a good fit. She wants to go to the strip club and look at other women with her man, and I don't want to do that. So it's not a good fit. Not a good fit.
Because I can tell you now, I would be a bad person to go with because every time some money drops on the floor, I'm thinking I'm counting my money. So, like, no, no, no. This is not a good investment. This is not a good investment. I can't do this. No, no.
Nope.
No, I'll be like Shark Tank. You're
Not
fired.
at all. You're fired. Next.
So,
Keep it moving.
yeah, yeah, and I know when I was younger, I had a tough time. I was too loyal to a fault when I was younger. But now that I'm older, I'm like, no, this ain't working, partner. You'll be all right.
You will be just fine.
Without me.
But I just say, maybe not just throwing, the baby out with the bathwater. It is a useful tool, and some people have actually met the one. They met their person. So I think it's just a matter of, okay, just not entertaining the wrong, not entertaining the ones that aren't people, that aren't a good fit, and you know it. When you
Hmm.
know it, you know it. And there's no point in, if you're, if you're really looking for, your person, then, keep it moving next. And, instead of getting involved and getting caught up and catching feelings and going through this and that with someone that is not it.
That's true. Now, I've heard black men and black women say that dating, well, basically dating within our race is hard. It's more difficult. Do you agree with that? Because I feel like it's not about a black women being difficult or black men. I think it's kind of like what you kind of hit on before. Like if you're not with the right person, then you just chose the wrong person. So it's not really that you met, dating black is bad. It's just you have like I made bad choices in people I've selected. But that doesn't mean that black women are bad. I love black women. But it's not fair. I don't think it's fair for me to say that because I had a bad experience with this woman or that woman, that all black women are bad. So do you think that
Got
type
you.
of mentality makes
Got
it
you. I feel
difficult?
like, I got you. I feel like that, that black men and women, we have our own, unique set of issues outside of just regulating. We do. I mean, there's no, you know what I mean. But there are some situations that aren't just black or white. Some situations are just, it is what it is. As far as, dating black men being hard or dating black women being hard, there's a lot of, there's a lot of situations out here. I mean, as far as from me, as from a woman's perspective, and dating black men, because I would prefer to date a black man. Um, you got men that are already in relationships or
Mm-hmm.
situationships. They're pretending to be single and available. You have men pretending to want a relationship, or maybe omitting the fact that they really kind of don't want one, or they're not ready. You have some men who don't have a place to live, or they have like some kind of financial situation going on. You have some that know they've got some drama going on in their life, but they leave that information out. They're presenting their, representative to you. And it's almost as if, for me as a black woman, in order for me to have a black man, I have to be able to choose from a number of situations and try to pick the least toxic in order to have one.
Wow.
And I say this to go back, because we, as black men and women, we have our own unique set of issues. And a lot of our black men, due to, how they are treated, how we are treated as black people, but particularly for black men, how they are treated, it goes back way, way back, to all the issues that black men have to deal with. So in that case, there's some that are locked up.
Mm-hmm.
There's some that are unemployed or underemployed and not being paid what they're worth. There's some that have to worry about staying alive, not being shot, not being, there's a lot going on. And there's a lot of black men that are just not available for all of us. It's it's just the way it is. And so there's a lot of black women out here. The ratio, I'm not really sure. I guess I should have looked that up, but there's a lot of black women out here that there just doesn't seem to be enough black men that are available, really. Aside from the ones just it mentioned, all these different situations that you have going on. So some women are choosing to just go with it. There or some are going with the friends with benefits option, in order to have a man. Just but without the drama, without the relationship. Why even deal with it? I'll just have a friend with benefits. Or some are just sitting it out, like
Mm-hmm.
myself. I just sit it out until, I meet what I'm looking for. But in any case, it's a lot going on. Some women are choosing to, like we talked about earlier, focus on the finance part, meaning that he needs to spend this type of money or have this type of money in order to have her time. Um, and I explain that in a second, but there's just a lot of situations we come with a lot of issues already, both black men and women, that some of these other people aren't coming with. So we've got that. Plus we've got the normal woman and men and women stuff that we're different. Da 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 da. So we just got a lot going on. So it is, I feel like, a challenge for us, but you know we're making it happen. I mean, it's kind of raggedy, but I mean, we're doing it. But I was gonna say, as far as the women that that talk about the money situation, we talked about it like they may have had a mother or a female figure in their, a woman. I hate that word, female. They may have a woman in their life that passed those things down to them. But I know personally some of my friends, and this is not all women. Some
Hmm.
women, I have a one in particular that I'm thinking of. Feel that they've given everything. They stretched themselves thin. They've given their bodies. They've done everything they could possibly do to make the wrong relationship work in the past, only to have the man walk out, cheating on them, or maybe beat them, manipulate them, just acting up. So they figure if they're going to go through all that again with another man, with the next man, at least it better be worth their time. You know, at
Okay.
least it better be worth their time. So, and I can't really speak for black men because I'm not one, but I'm sure there's some not no so nice women out there. I know you guys have your own set of difficulties, but there are some women that maybe, decent women, but they've been burned before. So, they just come with, look, you got this or you don't. Cause I done given this, I did this, and this is how it worked out last time. Now I got two of his kids, and he's nowhere to be found. So it's so many different situations. That's why I keep saying, when you're getting to know someone or you're dating, you want to be friends first. Really, that's the best way, because really you want to be romantic. You want that person, but you also want the person that is your best friend. And so if you're dealing with a woman, if you guys are communicating, you could kind of get a feel for what's really going on. Whether this person is really just trying to take advantage of you,
Uh huh.
or this person just got some issues that they need to work through.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, a big part of it is people just getting to know each other, and I think men and women really do have they have the same struggles and the same challenges, but for some reason we seem to want to make it so that well, people in general, it's like we want to make it so it's black men versus black women, but we're having the same issues because, like you said, a black man can't speak for a black woman can't speak for a black man. And I know that a lot of black men feel the same way, that they've been in relationships to where they've given all they had and they've end up getting burned.
Mhm.
So it just kind of it just creates a cycle, because some guys and some women, they can't get out of that cycle. And I think when they meet the person that's gonna really care about them and want to be with them, if they can't let go of that old mindset of like, okay, this is what she did to me, they go into a new relationship. It's like, okay, well, they took my money, so if this one asked me about money, I'm gonna tighten my fist, I'm gonna tighten my wallet because I'm not giving up anything.
Mhm.
When that person really just wants to grow with you,
Wow.
but you're still holding on to the emotions and what happened to you before, and you're really not this. Yeah, you're not letting that person in emotionally. You're not letting them fully in, which is unfair to them. And I think men and women do that to each other.
Mhm.
So you end up running a person off.
Yep. Yep. Right. So we still, and then when you say difficult, is it hard to date black men and women? It's just that we have an additional set of issues that we're coming with, because all of us collectively, you know, are we experience the same, relatively the same type of treatment as
Hmm.
as a minority in this country. So we're carrying all of that, and we're also trying to conduct ourselves in men and women relationships. So it's because we have all that added extra stuff, I think, that just makes it harder,
It really
or it
does.
makes it feel harder rather.
It does. Now, do you think black women have to be more aggressive when like expressing themselves or attempting to handle business matters or family matters? That they have to be more aggressive because maybe they feel like they're not being taken seriously?
I don't know. I don't think that we're aggressive. I think we just have this. I don't know. And I don't feel. I'll say for me personally, I don't feel that I have to be aggressive.
Hmm.
I really don't. It's only when people try to pull the bullshit that I feel that I have to assert myself. And being a black man, I'm sure you know what I'm referring to when I say the bullshit.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. You know the underhanded things that people, the others will try to do to us, and
Hmm.
it's like really, you're insulting my intelligence. That's the only time that I feel like I have to assert myself. There's when you're a black person, male or female, there's always someone out there that's going to treat you differently. And not everyone, but there's always someone. They're going to treat you differently. They're going to try to treat you poorly or overall just kind of try you. So that's one thing I just wish people would stop looking at black women as aggressive and angry and just try to put themselves in our shoes. If you're constantly being attacked or minimized or treated unfairly, how else would you act when someone is poking at you?
Exactly.
Sometimes people don't have to yell at you and call you a nigger in order for them to minimize you or demean you. And people can have some underhanded, I call it nicety because it's nasty, but they have
Hmm.
some underhanded ways to deal with you, and it can really, like, push your buttons.
You are preaching. You know what? Because I really think that people don't understand. what- They don't really get the fact that there are people that do that, and especially when you get on these jobs or people will say
Mm.
things to you. Well, you know when we say people, you know who we're talking about.
The others.
Yeah, they will do stuff, and they will use the job as sort of a smoke screen to kind of hide what they're doing. And so stuff like that, it will make you be aggressive. It will make you. I've seen more black men and women labeled as the angry black person when they spoke up about stuff like that happened. But it wasn't because they were angry,
It's
not because they're aggressive.
manipulation.
Exactly, exactly. And it's just, I think it bothers me when I hear people call somebody aggressive and angry because my first question is, well, why are they like that? Well, what happened?
Right.
Yeah, they're not just like that for no reason at all. Something happened. Because who was I watching on the what's the show? It was The View. What's the lady name? She's on Fox News now. I can't think of her name. It was a lady that was on The View, and they was talking about the Minnesota had some law. I can't even remember the name of the law now. But she basically told Joy and Whoopi Goldberg that black people have to tell us when something is morally, ethically, or racially wrong because we don't know. And I'm like, there's no way you can't tell me that you don't understand what's going on when you see this stuff happening. That we have to sit down with you, draw a picture, and break it
Right.
down with crayons.
And possibly risk, someone coming back and retaliation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Just, we need to do another one on that. That's
Yeah. It's not safe.
it's
It's
really
not
not.
safe. We don't have a safe space. You know, we don't, as black people, we are each other's safe space. It's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be safe because out there it's not safe. It's not always safe.
No, it's really not. I mean, I know some people just try to play the game and go along with it. And HR is half the time a joke. I don't know if you do HR, but sorry if I did. Not trying to offend HR people, but but
Well, they're limited in what they can do.
yeah,
They're limited, and yeah, they're limited in what they can do. They're basically just a face and a body.
exactly, exactly. Because they really don't make hiring or firing decisions. I mean, they just. I'm like, when I think it, because
It's like they're the host. I'm going to be your host while you're employed here. Let me show you where your seat is.
That's
Bring me
it.
some menus. I'm kidding. Sorry, HR people.
Yeah, but you're right though. That is a perfect description for an HR department. They are the host. That's it. That's
Welcome.
it. That's basically what they do for orientation.
Yeah, it is. But I don't fault them. It's that's their job. I don't fault them. They don't have a lot of power, really.
Yeah, they really they are supposed to.
Their interest is the company's interest.
Hmm.
They're hired and they're paid by the company.
So if you're an employee that has a problem, you will be the first out the door.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's rough.
It- oh, you got me over here having flashbacks.
Yeah,
Oh, that'd be a whole
it's
nother
rough.
thing. It is rough. It really is rough because when you're black and you're working for somebody else, you really don't have a voice. You really can't say much. And even if you get to the position to where, let's say you are a vice president or someone in that position, even then you still have limitations. So it's
Yep.
tough. Now, do you feel as black people that we compete unnecessarily with each other? Like do black women compete? Black men and black women, are we competing unnecessarily with each other when we work together in a business environment?
Well, I can honestly say that I haven't had this experience, but it's probably because most of the business environments that I've been in, I'm usually the only black person.
Wow.
But I know that yeah, yeah.
Mm.
I know that there's a lot of black women that have had that experience, and my mom actually deals with it every day. She deals with it every day, and she works with an office of full of other black women. So she has told me that that it's like that, and I've also heard people say that younger women complain that about older women, kind of shading them or whatever. But I just, as far as a business situation, I don't I don't really have a lot to say about that because like I said, most of the people that I've worked with, or most of the environments I've worked in, have been mostly white people. I've literally been the only black person there, not even another black man, just the
Wow.
only black person. It's been interesting,
Ooh.
but yeah.
Oh my God. Let me ask you this. This is sort of off topic a little bit. It's on the same topic, but a little, because this is something that I have experienced because the job for where I'm working at now, I was the only black director. And
Mhm.
for, it's going to sound crazy. It may or may not, but have you ever been in a situation to where they feel like you're supposed to be like their friend and you're supposed to tell them everything that's going on with you and you're supposed to have this like best friend
Mhm.
relationship and they don't understand when you're like, no, 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 we're
Mhm.
coworkers. We are not friends.
Of course. It's one of those things, and it's not even, I'm telling you, it's not, I think it's just, this is just my personal opinion. I could be
Mm-hmm.
wrong, but I feel like what in my mind, I'm thinking, do you do this with other coworkers? You know what I mean? I had a supervisor, and I'm going to put this way, and this might step on somebody's toes, but it sounds bad, but it is bad. But I had a supervisor, and, I like doggies. I do.
Mm-hmm.
But, a lot of others really, really place those relationships with their pets above everything. And so she has her dogs and she loves her dogs. And honestly, I felt like I was another pet. That's how it felt. Like she wanted to treat me like a if that makes any sense. And it's almost as if maybe they're looking at us like a pet, like another extension of, because I don't see that going on amongst their other peers. I don't see that.
Wow, that's truth. That no, Demi, you are telling the truth.
Yeah, like a little, I
Yeah.
was just like, man, you know, instead of the professional relationship that you should have, that type of professionalism. And I'm not gonna lie, I've had very few, but I've had a few friends that that I've worked with or others, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get that treatment from them. I enjoyed hanging out with them, but I've also had what you're telling me, where it's like someone is expecting you to do something out of the norm that you should, it shouldn't even be. It should be about this work performance and what we're doing and keeping it professional. I'm not a pet. Or, yeah, you have, especially with the others that are women.
Oh, see, I gotta watch myself now. I gotta. No, because I know exactly what you mean. I
Yeah.
really do. Because I've seen them talk to their pets, and the way they talk to their pets is the exact same way they talk to some of us. And sometimes I just kind of give them a weird look,
Next
like,
podcast. Are black people pets?
yeah. We should do that. We should do that.
Pets in the corporate world. I don't know.
Oh my goodness, you got my eyes watering over here. But you're right.
Yeah.
That's how we're perceived, and it's insulting to be honest. Be seriously, it's insulting because you know
It
how
is
somebody's talking to you.
insulting. It's like a, what is the word I want to use? A novelty. I don't know. The word I want to use is just like something to. Oh, look what I have.
Yeah.
Oh, looky here. Look what I discovered. 'Cause, they love discovering stuff.
Oh, they're very good at that. Very good at discovering
Hmm.
stuff, no matter who it belongs to. Oh
Right.
my God, we're gonna have to have a deeper conversation about that. Oh my God, yeah, we have got to have a deeper conversation about that because, wow, because it's like, because I hear people having this conversation, but it's like they don't really want to have the conversation.
Right.
Especially like even when I go to work, I hear people talking, and it's like you know how we can kind of give each other a look like this some bullshit.
Right.
And we get that. It's sad, but it's unfortunate that we can't be spoken to and treated in a professional manner like everybody else.
Right. And I don't want it, because not every situation is like that, but enough of
Hmm.
them are like that where as black people, we can relate to each other because we've seen it happen.
Yeah, I think the issue we found is when you try to explain what's going on, they don't understand or they pretend they don't understand.
Right.
And that just creates more frustration.
Yep. Exactly. Frustration.
We got
That feeling
plenty
of powerlessness.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is.
Yep.
I'm ready to start a revolution.
Right. Well, everything else is happening in 2020. Why not? We got a month left
Might as well finish it out with a bang.
with a bang.
Yeah. Get some Public Enemy soundtrack, some of their old music, and yeah, I might walk into work Tuesday morning playing Public Enemy.
If someone says something to you like, hello, good morning, you're like, I'm not your pet. Like, I just said good morning. Sorry.
That actually would be funny. Oh my goodness. That's what they would say too. I just said good morning. What's wrong with Reggie? He must have been talking to that Demi girl. She's an activist, I heard.
Low key.
Oh my goodness. All right, let's see. Okay. What? Oh my goodness. You got. Oh. Okay, let me focus. Okay. How do you feel as a black woman? Have you ever felt like you have been misrepresented when you've heard things that black men have said or men in general?
Well, angry black woman thing gets me. I feel like, we like I said, we're not angry. A lot of times we are overwhelmed and frustrated, and it might appear to be anger when it's really just a feeling of helplessness.
Mm-hmm.
What else? What else do black men say? I feel like that's the biggest one for me is the angry thing. Or that black women, they're hard to get along with, but we're not any different than any other woman. we do have an additional set of circumstances that come with us. But as a black man, you have the same issues,
Right.
so when we come together, we don't want to bring all that. We want to have a place of refuge when we're coming together. We're not any different. We just have a lot more to deal with as you do. And I feel like some black men feel like, well, it's better to just have, you know, one of the others, because then I don't have to worry about this or this or that. But then when this or that happens to you as a black man, that other, should not be able to understand, or, even really truly be able to empathize. Lord, I can't talk today, with what, you're going through. And I just feel like we get a lot of bad rap for, oh, well, they have an attitude, they're angry, can't get along with them, but that's not the case. We want to be loved, we want to be cherished, we want to be, covered, and, we want the opportunity to be vulnerable. We just don't want to be vulnerable with someone that's going to leave us hanging, because we've had that happen before, whether it's with another man, or it's the world, or it's a parent that left. We've been vulnerable before, and it's we've been hurt, and it's been taken
Mm-hmm.
advantage of. So it's not that women don't want to be vulnerable. We don't want to do this, we don't want to do that, we don't want to get along. It's not that. It's just that, we have our own set of issues that we come with from the outside, as do black men, and that needs to be a factor. You can't expect us to come home after a long day of work of dealing with the others, and dealing with all these petty that you and I just discussed that we go through, and then expect us to, want to, we gotta defrost, because we out there, fighting a good fight, just like black men are. We're out there, and we can't come out there and be vulnerable, because they will do us in. We have to be strong. So, we just need a minute to thaw, to thaw out, but we're still the same gushy, smushy, soft people. Underneath we are, but it's like we're not allowed to be that,
Yeah, you make a
we're not allowed to talk about that.
you make an excellent point, because I don't think, as black men and black women, I don't think we consider the fact that when that other person goes out, maybe we are all just so caught up in our own thing that we got going on, that when we do come home to each other, when we do, you know, you're welcoming that person home, we're not giving that person time, like you said, to thaw out from everything that has taken place. Either, one person's trying to unload on the other person about what they went through. So if you don't decompress and like let all that stuff out, yeah, you're both gonna seem like you're upset or frustrated or angry with each other, but it's not you, it's the situations that you're dealing with outside of the relationship.
Yeah, it's a lot we're dealing with every day. Every day when we go outside, we have to put on a face. We got to put on something. Got to
Mm,
put on some armor. You
yes,
just never know.
that is true. I do believe as a people, we can never step outside our house without wearing some type of mask. You know,
Always.
yeah, always.
Especially that is, unless we're around our culture, our folks.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there's always that mask. There's always that, it's never off. It's never off out there.
Man, I really don't think people. I don't think others. I know others don't realize that.
No, they don't. But we know when we come together and it's just us, the mask is off. We act different, we talk different. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's always, 'cause it's not safe, and
No,
that's something that we deal with day in and day out on a daily basis. The others don't have to.
no, they don't have to at all. So, what do you think about the new? I don't want to call it a quote, but the new sort of idea right now, which I don't think is accurate, but them saying that black women now have more opportunities over black men.
I don't think that we have more opportunities than black men. We honestly, we're all black. We don't. There's nothing different. Um, there's nothing different really. I mean, the only thing that I would say that would be different, something that a black woman might have that a black man doesn't, is the fact that we have womanly parts. That's it. Um, and for some reason, no matter what color some of these men are,
Hmm.
they really seem to have an interest in womanly parts. So some of them, might allow us in some places that ordinarily would not be available, but it's really not that deep. It's really not. We have pretty much the same struggles, and then it goes so much deeper than that because we also have that struggle. Yeah, someone might have an interest in a womanly part and open a door that maybe have been closed, maybe.
Hmm.
But we still have that. There's still always that the thing as far as the income. We're not gonna get paid. We get paid the least. Because of course there's the white man, the black man, there's the white woman, and then there's a black woman. We're on the bottom totem pole. So of course we're going to get paid less. There's a lot going on where we may be in a situation where we're not as physically strong as men are.
Uh huh.
So there's some things that are off limits to us there as well. So pretty much I don't feel like we have any other opportunities that black men don't have. You know what I'm saying? We don't have anything more than the occasional here and there somebody being having an interest in womanly parts. That's it. That's it. And that's really not a good thing.
No, I agree with you. I don't. I think black men and black women are dealing with the same thing. I think a lot of that is just stuff that is put out just to keep us at each other. I don't think it has no real relevance because I do agree with you. You might have some people out there that are in the position to hire, and they may say, well, I'm going to hire her because it's just because she's a woman. He wants to look at a woman. And there are guys that'll do that. But I think it has nothing to do with being a black woman. I think black women face the same challenges where
Right.
they go and apply for a job and it's like, I'm not going to give it to you. I'm not going to give it to the black guy. But if one of the others come, it's like, oh, hey, you got the job, regardless if you have the qualifications or not.
You're hired.
That's it.
Right. You just left McDonald's? Great. You're perfect. You're heading our new marketing department. That's how it goes.
It really is. It is. And no, when I kept
Yep.
hearing them say that, it's like, yo, for black women, they're getting more doors open and they're getting more opportunities. I'm like, I don't see that happening. I said, if anything, it's creating more friction because you got no data, you got nothing to support that. And I'm pretty sure black women don't feel like they can just walk up into any corporation and become the CEO. It's like they're fighting the same fight. I said, if anything, they're probably hiring a black woman thinking that she will be weaker and more controllable. I said,
Yep.
but
That's it.
but it's not the fact that she's hired because of a woman. They're hiring her because they feel like she will be so submissive that she'll take, like you said, whatever little pay they give her. And and black men
That's
and
it.
women are not going for that anymore. It's like we want equal pay.
Right. We still got the same bills. Got the same bills you got.
Yeah.
Or they got, rather the others have. We all have the same bills. They gotta be paid.
Exactly. So that's why when I heard that little statement, I was like, okay, you're just buying into propaganda, whatever you want to call it. I said, and it's talk like that you keep spreading that type of stuff that really creates more conflict and more division between black men
Yep.
and black women. I mean,
Yep. It's just clear that we need businesses. We need more black business owners. It's so clear.
yes. And that's
More trades.
We do. We really do. I wish I can remember what the time frame was, but it was a city in North Carolina to where they actually had all black banks, they had black stores, and it was actually, and this was in, I want to say it was the 40s. So now I got to go to my black encyclopedia and look it up. But, and their whole model was they hired black, and then they kept bringing in more black businesses. I'm like, that's a foundation, that's a
Beautiful.
blueprint that we should be using now.
That's beautiful. Yes, we need to, and that's why I kept saying we need to reach back. We need to be mentoring each other. We need to be showing how. We need to be showing each other how to fish. We need to be getting trades. We need to be doing those things because if we can work together, this will be a non-issue. Like if these, if we can be at least sufficient within ourselves and be able to produce, then this all would be a non-issue. If we had not, a lot of it would be a non-issue because we would be sufficient
It's,
without the need, without them,
exactly.
without anyone else.
I mean, half the stuff that we have right now, because who was it? The guy, darn it, all these names are slipping me. Like the first black hair product was owned by a black guy, and he specifically hired women, black women, to help run the marketing department, run the advertising, to do all of that. And they started training each other. It is like, but when the white people find out that the product was made by a black person, of course they shut him down. But if we were to start
But that
building
was
our
back
own,
then. People need help. They need products.
yeah, it's like I
They
said,
need it now.
we can do it now. There's no reason. We actually have more resources to pull it off because it was harder for them to do that back then than it is for us now. I think I said that
Yep.
right, but I would love to
Yes,
see that.
you said it right.
So, do you think on social media, YouTube, you see a lot of content that's directly geared towards black men and black women attacking each other? Like, even before we started this, I said, let me kind of look and, kind of see some of the other things that's out there. And a lot of the panels were just all women or all men. And it was just more of you had two different views, but there was nothing to actually have where two voices sat down and talked and said, look, this is what we're thinking, this is what we're saying, to where they can move past anything. And there are very few conversations where you did have, a group of young black men and a group of young black women. It ended up turning into an argument. But those age groups for those groups where they had black men and black women actually together was 25 and under, which I thought was interesting. And everybody looked like a supermodel.
That is interesting.
Yes. That really, and I looked at that and I was like, okay, so I understand you want to try to get the younger generation talking and having this conversation. But then I thought about, did you ever go back and watch James Baldwin and Nikki Giovanni when they had a conversation about the black community, black relationships? I said, I feel like you need to have an older person from the older generation and somebody from the younger generation. You can't just have one specific area. So do you think those
I
conversations
agree.
are beneficial?
Well, I mean, I think whoever's doing the moderating for those should, like you said, be making sure that that it's a fair debate. And I think that's a great idea, having a representative from the older generations, the younger generations, because you know we're all in this together. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I just think that it's the moderators that need to make sure when they're putting these things together that it's fair, and it really is clear that both men and women need to vent. I feel like the common denominator that we have is love and passion for each other. I just think most of us just want to be heard. So it's up to the moderator to make sure that when they're putting these events together, or they're doing these things, that they're being responsible and accountable and making sure that everyone's point of view is being heard.
Exactly. And I just, 'cause I was just curious about that. I couldn't understand why they would keep the age range, well, I guess so low, if I can use that as a way to describe it. It's like, why not bring in somebody who was in their upper 30s or 40s or 50s or 60s into that conversation, because that's how you learn, because that's where the
Right.
experience is.
I think maybe they exactly. Maybe they just wanted to, maybe they weren't thinking that far ahead and just thinking, okay, we're clearly having a problem in our generation with this situation. Let's put it all together and let's talk. And that's the moderator's fault because it shows their inexperience, you know. Yeah, I think it's just a moderator to make sure that everything is, it's almost like somebody trying to counsel
Hmm.
and they have no experience doing it. They don't know what to anticipate, and so they're probably doing these things and learning, trial by error, I guess.
That's true. So, what would you say for black men and black women? What would be your suggestion, or what recommendations would you make for how black men and black women can work better together and kind of come together to work on actually building instead of tearing each other down?
I think just communication, and everybody says communication, and it's not easy. And how do we communicate when we don't know how? I mean, we don't really know how. Nobody taught us. I'm not going to say nobody. Some of us
Uh-huh.
have not been taught how to communicate with a woman, or how to communicate with a man, or how to communicate when you're frustrated, or we've not been taught that. um but that is what we need. That is how we can better understand each other, is just being able to communicate individually, maybe just working on communication in individually. I mean, for someone individually, just working on communication within your own sphere, working on communication not just with other men and women, but working on communication with your family, your friends, your working on communicating, meaning communicating what you are what you feel when you feel it, not holding things in. If something you don't understand something, maybe asking a question at it. I think all of it sounds really simple and mundane, but I think that's how it starts, to learning how to communicate. Unless there's going to be someone, this person out there that's going to teach all of us how to communicate properly with each other. As a culture, we need to communicate. How do we do that? How do we teach those that don't know how to communicate properly to communicate?
And see, that's a good point, because you're right. I think a lot of us haven't been taught that. And a lot of things you said, I think about me as a child coming up, and it's like, if I would have had this information when I was coming up as a child, how I could have avoided a lot of roadblocks or a lot of the bumps in the road. I could have got over them a lot easier having the knowledge of the things that you have just spoken about today. And communication is key. Like you said, it's a simple thing. Everybody says it, but everybody is not really taught how to communicate.
Right. But us reaching out as a community and mentoring each other and sharing information and sharing knowledge and putting it out there where people can at least, if they don't know how, and just the big things, but the little things that we just assume that everybody should already know. Maybe if we can just reach out and mentor those that are around us. If even if it's just sharing some information that's going to help someone else, or teaching someone how to do something, or just making the information available so that
Hmm.
someone would be able to access it. But how do we communicate as a culture, as a whole? It's not this. I don't think there's this huge answer for that. There's not this huge solution. I think it just starts with us individually, being aware, and just starts with us individually within our homes and our houses and our communities.
That's really what we need. But like you said, starting in the homes, that seems to be a challenge for some of us. But during this COVID time was a good time to really start implementing some of these things in the home, since our children are at home, can't go anywhere.
Right. Yep.
you know,
Telling you.
perfect time, people, perfect time. Now, before we head out, could
Yep.
you please tell us about your ebook, Global Etiquette for Black Girls. And also tell us what it's about and how can people get a copy of it.
Oh yes. So this ebook that I made it free. It's called Global Etiquette for Black Girls. So if you know any, young black women or, women just starting out or women that you think would be interested, please pass it on. It talks about, of course, cultures globally. It's it teaches black women how to conduct themselves when they're overseas in different countries, because I'm expecting that black women are going to be traveling and doing these type of things. So they need to know. It teaches, of course, table manners, which fork, which spoon, which whatever, because you never know what situation you might find yourself in, and you want to be in the know on how to conduct yourself. It talks about simple things like hygiene, speech, confident speech, being out in the world, career, how even down to how to do a proper handshake. It talks about finance, credit, all the things that people take for granted that you're supposed to know, or maybe you know, but maybe there was no one to teach you. And you can find it at you can email me if you like, support at heyblackgirlletstalk.com. Of course, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. You can always DM me. You can also go to www.blackgirls.info/global. Submit your email there, and I'll send out a copy.
All right, and I think you should definitely check that out because I think this is information and something that me and Demi was talking about prior to the start of this was the fact that you know as a man never had any information like that. So the fact that you have something like this that our young women can actually look at and embrace, this will definitely give you a step up in life, especially if you're starting to get out into the real world. So definitely check it out. I'm going to make sure that I definitely put all those links in the show notes. So you'll be able to click and go right to it. Make sure you download it, read it, and give her your feedback. Let her know what you think. And definitely share it. Share it because we don't have many literature forms for our young black women that's going to really help them outside of what they consider to be school book knowledge. This is real life knowledge that you guys should really embrace. So definitely check it out. And don't forget, I'm going to put all that information down in the show notes. So make sure you go to her website and you definitely download her ebook. Okay? Miss Demi, thank you so much. I really appreciated this. I would love to do this again with you because there is so much I would just love to talk about with you because even during the show, I would kept thinking like, wow, that's another show. She'll be great. Yeah.
Yeah, anytime, Reggie. Like, I really enjoyed myself. It was great talking to you. It really was.
Oh, well, thank you. And to all of our listeners, don't forget download the ebook. Hey, and definitely check out her podcast. Make sure you check out her podcast. Okay? So, with that being said, we will see you guys next Friday. Shows drop every Friday, so make sure you be with us. I'm going to try to convince Demi to come back again. So,
Of course.
thank you guys, and we will definitely see you next time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Straight Talk Show with Reggie Maddox. If you like what you just heard, we hope you'll pass along our podcast to your friends and colleagues. And please leave us a positive review on iTunes. Be sure to check out our archive section on iTunes, Spotify, Libsyn, and YouTube. Join us next time for another edition of the Simply Straight Talk Show.